people, welcome to another episode of Grand Football TV, and it's yours truly, Mr. Chiggs again. I hope you're doing well. If you're joining us for the first time, you are welcome to our weekly look at the Premier League. We are into Game Week 23, guys. Game Week 23. And remember, like we always do, we will look at Game Week 22 first before we look at Game Week 23. Let's see how all the panel did in Game Week 22. Okay. Manchester United versus Manchester City. Like some of the Man U fans I've spoken to, they didn't see this coming. You know, they were expecting the worst. But Carrick's at the helm now for at least the rest of the season. And he set his team up really well in this game. And they won 2-0. What a great win for Man United. They were buzzing. In fact, they're buzzing so much. They're now looking at the league. Not just, this win. They're hoping things can even get better for the rest of the season. Come on, guys. It's only one game. One game. Calm your horses. Be humble. Humility is key. Yeah. So, Man United fans buzzing. Man City fans, not so good. They even went ahead midweek. Lost again in the Champions League to Bodo Glimt. Someone said that name's like a Wi-Fi password. And they lost to them. Wow. Not great, man. Not great. So, Man United, things are looking up. Man City, things are looking a bit bleak. Yep. Okay. Chelsea versus Brentford. Chelsea versus Brentford. Chelsea winning that one 2-0. Beating Brentford 2-0. They had a great game. For their new manager. I'm sure they've been buzzing from that game. And Brentford, who have been in good form lately, didn't seem to have... Well, to be fair, one or two of the Chelsea fans said if Brentford had taken their chances, the game would have been different, which I agree. So Chelsea will be happy with that result, Leeds versus Fulham. Fulham getting that win, 1-0. Fulham getting the win, 1-0. And... sorry, I forgot to mention for the first game, Man United, no one got the prediction. The second game, well done to David, who got the Chelsea result. And in this game, Leeds Fulham, no one got the right prediction. Liverpool versus Burnley. Liverpool won, Burnley won. No one expected that result, and it reflected in what the guys put down. No one predicted a 1-1 draw in that game. Tottenham versus West Ham. Tottenham losing at home to West Ham. 1-2. Callum Wilson getting that late goal for them. Yeah. No one again predicted that scoreline. Surprise, surprise. Sunderland versus Crystal Palace. Sunderland beating Crystal Palace 2-1. And well done to Osita, well done to Kiki, well done to Chris. All three of them predicted that Sunderland would beat Crystal Palace 2-1. So well done to them. Nottingham Forest versus Arsenal. Not a great game, guys. Not a great game. That finished 0-0. And no one predicted that scoreline because everyone thought Arsenal, based on what's happening, they should get the result, but they didn't. Well, they made up for it in the Champions League in midweek where they beat Inter Milan when they didn't need to. So hopefully they'll be buzzing for the game at the weekend, which we'll talk about soon. Wolverhampton versus Newcastle. Another 0-0. That finished 0-0. Wolves, they've been picking up points lately. They've been picking up loads of points lately. And no one predicted that scoreline as well. Aston Villa versus Everton. This is why no one is looking at Aston Villa. Arsenal slip up, Man City slip up, and Aston Villa had a chance to at least reduce the deficit, and they also slipped up. Everton beating them 1-0 away from home. So that was a good result for Arsenal fans because they keep that momentum. They stay, where they were, even adding a point, after these games. So we'll see how game week 23 pans out. Brighton versus Bournemouth. That game finished 1-1. And again, no one predicted that scoreline. It's been a time of not a lot of predictions, only 1 or 2 correct scores this week from the guys. So hopefully we do better in game week 23. So let's show you how the table looks like after game week 22. And Temizak still sits at the top with 504 points. And Dion is second with 473 points. And Finn is third with 459 points. Yep. And at the bottom, we still have Timitayo with 393 points at 12th. 13th, Yema with 380 points. And closing in is King T, who's at the bottom, was closing in 371 points. We'll see how it finishes at the end of the season, guys. Yep. Okay. Game week 23. Are we ready? Yep. So we'll go through that quickly. West Ham versus Sunderland. West Ham, Sunderland. West Ham will be buzzing from that win away from home, Tottenham, and Sunderland, they're still a team in form, but not great away from home like they are at home. I don't think they've still lost a game at home, but away from home, that's where all the, dropping of points have come. So I would say West Ham would win this one, and I'm going to go West Ham to beat Sunderland 2-1. West Ham to beat Sunderland 2-1. Burnley versus Tottenham. Burnley had a great game, you would say, against Liverpool. Pulled out a draw in that game, so they'll probably be buzzing from that game. But Tottenham, they lost at home to West Ham, like we just said. And they went midweek and won against Borussia Dortmund, I believe. Yep, that was a good win for Tottenham. So I'm assuming if they are buzzing from that and it translates into this, into the league, they would come here. And remember, they play better away from their actual home games. They play better away, and they beat Burnley in the previous fixture, one of the few games they won at home. So they probably want to make sure they come here and get a result. So I'm going to go for Tottenham to beat Burnley 2-1 away from home. Fulham versus Brighton. Fulham, Brighton. They would have all their AFCON guys back now. It will be Chukwueze and Calvin Bassey. So that's a huge boost for Fulham. Huge boost. And I see them winning this one. Brighton had an okay game in their last one, but I see them coming here and maybe dropping points. So I'm going to go for Fulham to beat Brighton 2-1. Fulham to beat Brighton 2-1. Manchester City versus Wolverhampton Wanderers. Well, Man City, they're wounded. Lost to Man United, lost their Champions League game away at Bodo Glimt. This game, they're at home at the Etihad. They've played 2 away games, so this game they're at home. I see them doing some damage, because they'll have to do some damage to at least show that they're still in this race. They're still in this race. And they've signed Gehi now. to shore up the defense. They've got Semenyo, who has been playing well since he came in. So you would see that this game, they would probably want to make sure they win with a big scoreline to make a statement that, look, we're still in here. Don't forget about us. I see them beating Wolves 4-1. Wolves have been playing really well, but I see this one as a step too high for them at the moment. They'll probably play better after this game, but they'll probably lose by 4-1. Could be more, could be less, but I see City winning. Bournemouth versus Liverpool. Bournemouth, Liverpool. This game looks very interesting. I see this game with a lot of goals, maybe a 2-2 or 3-3, but I'm going to stick with a draw, and I'm going to go with Bournemouth and Liverpool to play out a 2-2 draw. They will play out a 2-2 draw. Brentford versus Nottingham Forest. Brentford, they'll probably not be happy from that last game where they lost to Chelsea. They are at home now. Nottingham Forest drew with Arsenal. That could be a boost for them. But I see them going to Brentford and losing 2-1. Brentford beating Forest 2-1. Crystal Palace versus Chelsea. There are all sorts of problems happening with Crystal Palace at the moment. Losing their players. Some players want to leave. So I see this as a bad time for Crystal Palace. Although they have their AFCON players like Sarr back now, but still be a tricky one. And I see Chelsea going there and getting a result. Chelsea, they need the result as well. So I see them going there and beating Crystal Palace 3-1. Newcastle versus Aston Villa. This is a big game, guys. A big game. Aston Villa are still trying to stay in this race. Newcastle are trying to get up the table. So I see Newcastle, up in the ante in this game. They had a very good game midweek as well in the Champions League. So they would probably be buzzing from that and going into this. Well, fair enough. Aston Villa also had a good game away from home in their Europa League game, and they won as well. So both teams will be buzzing, but because this is a Premier League game, I would say Newcastle would edge this by a single goal, and I'm going to go for Newcastle to win 2-1. Newcastle to win 2-1. And then the big one, the star game of the weekend, Arsenal versus Manchester United. Arsenal versus Manchester United. The Man U fans are already saying they definitely will win this one. But they're forgetting that Arsenal haven't lost at home this season. And Arsenal are the ones at the top of the table. So it would be very, very strange if Arsenal lose this game to Manchester United. It'd be very, very strange. So I'm going to go for Arsenal to beat Man United and to beat them 3-1. 3-1 to beat Man United 3-1. And the final game of Game Week 23, Everton versus Leeds. Everton v Leeds. This game, Leeds have been playing well. They've been doing well, but Everton, because of their very good performance away from home at Aston Villa, I feel they would build on that in this game. And I see them Leeds going to Everton and losing. So I see Everton winning this one 2-1. 2-1. Yeah, there you have it. Game Week 23 locked in. What are your predictions for Game Week 23? Let us know in the comment section, guys. Do you think Arsenal can beat Man United? Do you think Chelsea can go away to Crystal Palace and win? Do you think Man City, based on what's happened in their last 2 away games, would beat Wolves comfortably? Let us know in the comment section. Thank you guys for joining us, and I shall see you in the next video. Bye for now.
Yo, check this.